Hello everyone, Zellerant here, and for today's video on Umamusume, we're going to be taking a look at the upcoming Umas that we can kind of expect to come out here at the beginning of April. Right now, the timeline shows that we estimated it will be April 1st, but it could be a day or two later. We won't know until the schedule drops on the last day of March, so I thought I'd just go ahead and get this out there in case it is April 1st, so you can be better prepared for making a decision whether or not you want to pull. So this one's going to be another one of those double Uma banners. It's a Ballroom banner, and so this one's going to come with Fuji Kiseki with her Ballroom ult and Seiun Sky with her Ballroom ult. And so we'll just go like all my videos with the Umas. We'll take a look at the Uma, their stat bonuses, their aptitudes, and then their skills, and whether or not you might want to pull over them. So first we'll take a look at here is going to be Fuji Kiseki, the Ballroom version. Now I'm a fan of the original version of her, one of them being on her aptitudes having 3 A's, meaning it's easier to get a good pink spark, but then also has a very good ult inherit, especially in the future when it gets buffed, being one of those greatly speed increases that'll work for frontrunners rather than like Triumphant Pulse, which does not. The Ballroom version, on her big difference is the stat bonuses. I really like her stat bonus placement. She's got 8% wit, 8% speed, and then 14% power. Really, really good. I mean, I love my power, and then having a little bit in wit and speed to make it more comfy, getting like the main 3 skills capped out. Really, really nice there. Aptitudes, no changes here. Still Turf, Mile, and Pace A, but being Dirt F, Long E, Short B, she can pretty much do anything and everything, and through great grandparent grinding, you can actually get her to the point where you can take her to have a Dirt C and Long B, and then she can basically do every single race when it comes to trying to get max affinity. Now that's a long-term goal, but it is something nice with Fuji Kiseki in that way. Now on her unique skill, it is going to be another greatly increase, so it's got its potential. But this one is going to be a little bit harder to trigger, and so the original one is definitely, to me, the better one for inherits in the future, as this one is basically passing another runner on the front part of the pack in the final corner or later, and it's basically a greatly speed increase on that. And so you have to be in fourth or higher. I think that's basically the same thing as her originals, but the originals is basically almost like having a Triumphant Pulse, but it can activate from first place when we eventually get the buff. Right now, you have to have an Uma that's like behind them for such a long, for a certain period of time. That will be buffed to be a little bit more consistent in the future. I'm not 100% sure on this one if it gets buffed, but it is definitely more conditional, and so I would consider it weaker in that capacity. But when you come into her innate skills, you have Mile Corners, Prepared to Pass, Shrewd Step, and then you have Head On, which is really nice for those gambling skills. Now, the gold's Tantalizing Trick, which is the gold version of Trick Front. She is one of the only Umas that have it, others outside of Rice Shower. We have not seen another one get it since then in a JP version, and I don't really like Trick Front. I don't think it's all that good. And so the gold version isn't really all that much different, bringing it to a 0.03. And seeing as she's more of a miler, it's even worse than Rice Shower, when at least Rice Shower is good for the longs. And then Speed Star, we already have kind of easy access to that right now. Well, I wouldn't say easy because you have to gamble to get it on Fine Motion. And you're pretty much going to always be using that on your Pace Chasers for at least a little while. But she does have it built in. So that at least you don't have to worry about that there. But I'd rather have something that I'm not getting easily off my support cards currently. So not the best there. Now when it comes down to the rest of her skills, she does have right-handed built in, Unyielding Spirit. I've got Preferred Position, I guess, and Disorient, but nothing too crazy down there. When you look at the evolutions, I will say her evolutions at least fixes the problem, I believe, with Tantalizing Trick. The first one, up here, makes it where you get the stamina drain, but also increases your target speed, so you at least get a speed increase off of it there. But then her other variation just outright changes it to a 0.45 speed increase when we eventually get those, so at least it becomes to me, more usable for miles. And then her evolution to speed spar just makes it a 0.45 instead of a 0.35. So nothing too crazy here. To me, the OG Fuji is significantly better, but if you didn't pull for her because you had a lot of other stuff you were looking at around that time frame, I don't think she's going to be a bad pickup that you get on this banner as kind of a bonus, because if you're going to pull on this banner, the Uma you're going to want to pull for, you're pulling for on this banner, in my opinion, is going to be Ballroom Seiun Sky, who's going to be the other Uma on here. And she is going to be very similar to Kitasan Black and kind of the secondary parent to Kitasan Black when it comes to building your front runners for longs. And so when you take a look at her stats here, she has 8 speed, 8 power, 14% in guts. Always like to have my power here, although since you're going to use her on like her ult is specifically for longs. I mean, guts build not going to be all that good. I don't know all the future scenarios and what cards you're going to be bringing to them specifically, because this is going to be our last long in Make a New Track. Because I can see Guts build working with like the Arima Keenan, but that is not going to happen until Grand Live, where Guts cards will kind of fall back off. When it comes to her aptitudes, same thing as the normal Seiun Sky. Frontrunner, 100% using her as that. Turf, medium, long, can easily work in miles though. Now her ult, very similar to Kitasan Black. If positioned towards the front on a straight late race, increase velocity with high spirits. So this one is going to be on the non-longs. On the last straight, she will get a speed increase to basically, if she's in first place and she got angling and scheming, because if you do run her as a front runner on the non-longs, you are going to want to inherit angling and scheming on her, which then means you're going to want a Seiun Sky grandparent, because you can't use her as a parent to get it. And now you've just reduced your affinity. And so this first condition, I would just ignore. I would not use her. It would not be fun to build her for anything that's not long. And just use the OG Seiun Sky for those. But then the other condition is the main one that we care about for longs. If the straight is on a backstretch, also increase acceleration very slightly. So she basically gets a 0.2 acceleration alongside a 0.35 speed increase on the long, because all the longs have you start late race on a backstretch straight away. And so just like Kitasan, it's not as strong. Kitasan's is 0.3, hers is 0.2. But for your longs, when you inherit Kitasan's, you only get a 0.1 acceleration. Well, with Seiun Skies, you get a 0.07. So with this one paired with Kitasan's, you almost get the equivalent of an angling and scheming. It's 1.7 versus 2. But that's all you really need if you're building a strong frontrunner. So definitely great for parent material. But just like she has the same weakness that the OG Seiun Sky has, is she doesn't really have a mid-game ult to help her be in a good position. But it activates from second place. That's the other thing I forgot to mention. Just like Kitasan, it activates from second or first. So she does not have to be in the front to activate it. Has Spring Runner built in, which is nice because one of the longs being the Tenno Show Spring, just like we're doing right now, as well as right-handed. So she has both speed skills for Tenno Show Spring. You have fast-paced, you have Leader's Pride in the gold version of Leader's Pride, and this is, what makes this is going to be a good skill that's on the Summer Maruzensky card, Top Runner. I think this is our first time we'll be actually seeing it, because, yeah, she's got it built in, then Summer Maruzensky will have it on the card, plus there'll be future ones that have it, but she won't need Summer Maruzensky since she has it built right in there. Has early lead. You're still going to want to use Wit Mihono Bourbon to get taking the lead. But she does have early lead built in already, which is nice. Escaped Artist, which is really good. No groundwork, sadly. Does have Highlander, and I think, if I remember correctly, this might be usable on one of the longs. I don't remember which one. It's more of a gamble skill on coming out of the gate, hitting Highlander for some extra acceleration. Having it built in, I guess, if you have the extra skill points, you can take it. I think we already had fast pace up here, right? Yeah. So you can get some extra hints for it. Now, some of these are tied to like secret events and stuff that you can't get currently, so just take note of that. Now, when it comes to her evolutions, when we eventually get those, she converts Escaped Artist. There's 2 variations of it. One of them, it makes it have a stamina recovery, and the other one just makes it a bigger speed increase. That's going to be the one you're going to pretty much always want to go with, in my opinion, because it's a very minor stamina recovery. Just give me more speed. And then the Leader's Pride, I believe, also gets a stamina built into it alongside, yeah, the 0.35 speed. So, I mean, she's all right. She's pretty decent. Has everything you need for Tenno Spring built in. Got all the skills. Just going to take a lot of work to make her strong at the mid-game with all the other stuff. Same weakness you have with the OG Seiun Sky in that respect. You have that problem with a lot of the front runners. I mean, that's why Sumaru Zensky and Mihono Bourbon are so strong, is because they have very strong mid-game ult to help them get into that good position, rather than having to fight for it and then having something that helps them finish it off. But if you do make her strong, of course, she has the built-in ult. You inherit Kitasan Black on her, and that brings her up to a 0.3 acceleration, which is going to be very strong for her. And that is Seiun Sky. Now, when looking at the Umas coming out around here and thinking whether or not you want to pull on it, the biggest one is going to be Nishino Flower coming right after. And she's going to be for your paces. She's kind of got the Major Orion type skill, but for paces. And she's a big pickup. And then the other one is going to be King Halo Cheerleader with her acceleration. Now, hers is more niche, focused on the Tokyo 1600. And like, we're going to actually have that one coming up soon. She's going to be one of those few late surgers that, or one of the few ways that a late surger / end closer can have a more consistent acceleration on that mile race. Of course, you'll still want to take like on your left and the other skills, but this will be very strong on that very specific one. And then after that, it's mostly skips other than Mr. CB Wit. You have plenty of time to continue saving up. So depending on where you're at in carrots will kind of depend on whether or not you're able to pull for her. I would say Nishino Flower is the highest priority of the ones in April to me, but Seiun Sky being the second, and then after that, King Halo. And of course, if you have an Oshi that's in the mix as well, you're going to want to pull over them. So you'll just have to kind of plan around it. But that's pretty much it for the Umas. For my next video I'll be having coming out, we'll take a look at the 2 Wit cards, because with this banner, we also get 2 SSRs together on that one as well. So that'll be it for now. And if you like my content, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.